So, before anything else, let us pray first. So, anyone who would like to lead the prayer? Okay, Miss Arsenal, please lead the prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, of the Holy Spirit, Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Arsenal. So, let's proceed to our quick exercise. So, can I ask volunteer? Okay, Mr. Pakaira, please lead the exercise. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Pakaira. You may sit down. So, good morning, class. I hope you're doing great for today's session. Um, so, how was your weekend? Okay, that's good. Doing some homework. That's good. So, um, I will first check your attendance. So, is there anyone absent? Okay, anyways, please raise your right hand to as I called your name. So, Arsenal, Baclayo, Candelaria, Pakaira, Osinar. So, I think everybody is present, so that's good. So, before proceeding to our new lesson for today, can I ask some volunteer to have a quick recap about what we did on the last meeting? Okay, can I have Miss Baclayo? Okay, very good. So last meeting, we discussed about fundamental positions of hands and feet. So I hope that everybody is already know and understand the topic of fundamental positions of hands and feet. So let's move on to the next topic. So now our topic for today is about directions in giving first aid. So before I proceed to the lesson proper or the discussion, allow me to have first a video presentation. So, okay. Okay, class, so you must pay attention and observe what is the video all about because later on I will ask you some questions and you must be prepared for it. So, here. If you've ever watched high school sports, chances are you've seen them before. They're the ones running out from the sidelines or dugout or bench to help an injured or shaken up athlete. They are certified athletic trainers and they play a big role in a team's success both on and off the field. From game day preparation to off-season conditioning, they've become as much a part of high school sports teams as the coaches. And as athletic trainer Jennifer Weissig of Knox High School can tell you, her job involves quite a bit more than bandages and ice pads. Yes, especially in this day and age with the technology that we deal with, legal liability that we have to deal with, the amount of athletes that we're dealing with, there's so many more kids playing sports at a higher level. Our job is multifaceted. Here in Pennsylvania, certified athletic trainers are considered licensed healthcare professionals. They must be able to identify and provide additional treatment for everything from minor injuries like... So, okay, that's all for the video presentation. So, um, for the video that you have watched, um, what do you think is the common injuries happened in the video that has been presented? Okay, Mr. Pakaira?
very good. So, what are the things that can or factors that can cause an injury? Okay, Miss Arsenal. Okay, very good. You may sit down. And what are the important things to do before giving some first aid to an injured person? Miss Baclayo? Okay, very good. So I think you all are ready for our next lesson for today. So let's move on to the discussion proper. So I have here a very short PowerPoint presentation. So for the people at the back, you can move forward so that you can have a clear vision to my presentation. So, um, directions in giving a first aid. So, um, there are there are two main points to remember in giving first aid. So the first one is to attend immediately to the most seriously injured. So, meaning, um, if there is one only victim, attend at once to his most serious injury. Second is speed is absolutely necessary. So meaning it can spell the difference of between life and death. So I have here a most accidents are minor and the first aid needed is obvious to a trained person. So in order to prevent or yes prevent a situation wherein injured person is involved, it must be a very um, well trained person who will handle that situation or that injured person. So, in case of serious injury, the following sequence of actions is usually applicable. So, these are the things that are applicable during that situation. So, the first is give the urgently necessary first aid. Have the victim lie down, check for injuries, plan what to do, carry out the indicated procedures. So let us first discuss the first one. So give urgently necessary first aid. So every second is very important in giving first aid in urgent cases such as severe bleeding, stoppage of breathing, and poisoning. Um, So, while first aid is being administered to the patient, it also someone else should call for a physician or call somebody who is near to that situation in order to have a um, prevention for that kind of situation. So, the next one is keep the patient lying down. It is important because it is to protect the patient from unnecessary disturbance and handling. And also, it keeps the patient to um, patient warm but not heated to prevent shock. Um, it also a it can also help the patient to have first rest and not to force that patient because he's injured. Yes, he's injured. Check for injuries. In checking for injuries, consider the important clues, which include the story of like what happened to that person before having an accident, or the reaction of the patient after the accident, and it can be also giving your own findings upon the examination. Plan what to do. Um, First, you call a doctor or ambulance to get a medical assistance through the telephone, or you can also ask some help if you see some people that is near to that kind of accident. Um, Take all the precautions in handling the patient while checking for injuries in order to prevent further injuries. So, and lastly is the carry out the indicated first aid. This is to stop the bleeding first, then find out if there is a need for artificial respiration, after which a more thorough examination may be done. So that's the that's only the my discussion for this lesson. So is anybody clarification, ask some questions about this lesson, about what I have discussed. So since there is no clarification and questions, let's have first a activity, a group activity or a drill. So, okay, please count 1 to 3. Okay, so what we gonna do for today is each group will be given specific scenario, which is giving directions of first aid. Then each group will present to the class the first thing to do during that kind of situation. So since I already group you, so group number 1 will stay here, group number 2 will stay there, and group number 3 here. So I will give you 5 minutes to prepare and have some kind of preparation before the presentation. So your times is go. Okay, time is up. So let's proceed for the presentation. So let's hear the presentation of the group 1 and the other group will follow. So group 1, you may proceed. Okay, everybody. So as I observe your presentation, it's all good, and I think and I can say that you already know the proper methods of giving first aid to the injured person. So that's good. So for the final um, activity, I would like you to have an essay about our lesson for today. That is covered for the um, following questions. First question is, explain why we must apply the proper execution in giving first aid to injured person. The second one is, what are the important knowledge and skills in applying first aid to an injured person? And lastly is, mention those methods and strategies in giving directions of first aid. So this is your criteria for um, making an essay. So I will give you 5 minutes for that. Then after that, um, we will end our discussion. So your time is now. Okay, time is up. So all papers past the front. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So thank you class for the participation, and that's all for today's session. May you learn something to me, and um, let's end it for today. So goodbye everyone. Okay.